Honestly, if I could go back and tell that version of me anything, it would be, you know what you're doing. Cry it out, go eat a cookie, and get back to work. I don't regret anything that I have done in my career and in my life because it brought me to where I am today. However, if I can share some of those things with you and help pay it forward for other teachers out there, of course I'm gonna do it. Confidence doesn't mean you always know what you're doing. It means you're okay not knowing and being patient to figure it all out. So it's 2011 and I am sitting on the stage of my classroom because I am a drama teacher for the very first time. And I'm not a brand new teacher, but I am a new drama teacher. And my students are sharing their share and tell from my activity that I had just come up with called 3 Items of Meaning. And this one student, big kid, wrestler, very funny kid, very well known on campus, extremely charismatic, but scared out of his mind of public speaking. And so he had stayed up like all night long practicing the story he was gonna tell us, and I'll never forget, about his grandma's apple pie. He's telling the story about this one time that he was in the kitchen with his grandma, whatever. He is standing upstage against the cyclorama, the back like wall of our stage, and myself and the other 39 kids in the class are sitting facing upstage on like the apron of the stage. So he's got a lot of space to move around. We have a pretty deep stage. And I am like, I want to say I'm like sitting dead center in with all of the kids, and they're kind of like around me. Silently agreed to just be the best audience ever for him because it was really big that he was doing this. And they're leaning in and he's telling funny things and they're laughing and they're kind of like, oh my gosh, oh my, and like, well, this one point in time where basically he like almost cut his grandma's thumb off, or like there's almost getting burned. There's like, we set the kitchen on fire, but then it was okay. And so like, there's a lot of drama in this little apple pie story. And I taught them to use their voices and get a little bit quiet when like, you know, it's a really intense moment and you really want people to pay attention. And so we're all leaned in and he's kind of quiet. And then all of a sudden, this furry little friend just goes, just right across the cyc, right across the back of the stage, unbeknownst to the child who is doing his sharing. And the entire audience, we all go, and he's like, oh my gosh, I'm killing it right now. A couple seconds later, goes back the other way. We all go like this, and he's like, I am amazing. He's getting more and more animated. That stupid mouse ran across at least 3 more times behind this child, and we're all kind of like, every time it's getting closer to his feet, but we didn't want to interrupt him because we didn't want him to like stop telling his story. And that was not even close to being the most stressful thing that happened to me my very first week as a drama teacher. And that first week was the beginning of an extremely long and lonely road of me figuring so many things out the hard way. There are so many things that could I go back and talk to new drama teacher Marie and say, hey, you're focused on this and this and this, and that's fine. However, you're missing this and you're missing this and you're missing this. And those are the things that are going to really save your life and make you enjoy what you are doing so much more. So truly, I had no idea just how lonely I was going to feel teaching theater. You think to yourself, but you're in a crowded room all day long. And anybody who teaches or runs a program or does something like akin to teaching, running a drama department, there are kids around all the time. They are constantly leaving their other classes. Even the kids that are not even in your department or like in your program are leaving their other classes to come in and just like say hey and like hang out. So like through my lunch, through break, through my prep period, kids are coming in and out for various reasons. And I don't begrudge that at all. I actually love that. I love that community aspect. I'm never physically alone, but oh my gosh, it is so lonely. There's a very specific loneliness to being the only adult in a room, A, but then also like there's a specific loneliness to running a program where you have the sole responsibility of like putting up a cast list. There's still just a lot of weight that comes with running a program where children specifically are so brave and vulnerable, and to have that weight of responsibility on myself, I don't take it lightly. I do take that very seriously, and it can feel very alone. Posting a cast list, while now I have learned, like looking back, I did it by myself. I should not have. I should have had a panel of people like I do now. The communities that exist hear through social media, through just even like online communities, they weren't there when I was first teaching. They really did not exist, especially for something as niche as like teaching theater. Maybe for English teachers, like I found my English teaching community way sooner than I found any drama teaching communities. Sitting amongst seasoned theater teachers, there is a lot of posturing and there's a lot of peacocking. Even still, there are moments where I'm like, this part of this community is not where I belong. I don't know. So it just can feel very lonely. And that is a lot of why I've come online and started sharing more of that side of things. That's what I'm teaching right now. And it's also just where I see a need for feeling supported. Another thing I did not realize, as a new teacher, period, any content, you are going to be reinventing the wheel. It's just kind of like part of the job. You don't need to do it all the time for all the things. Like definitely pick your battles. And I've talked at length in various places on my own Instagram and on the Brave New Teaching podcast about like where it is worth reinventing your own wheel because it's something that you want to have of your own versus like just use somebody else's stuff. It's really okay. But in theater, there is so much less to inherit. There's not like the, have you ever read the core arts standards? They're so vague and then oddly so specific all at the same time. So like not knowing just how many times I would invent and then reinvent things, build and then rebuild things every semester, every year, over and over and over again, only to then look back and be like, oh my God, I made that same audition form like 4 times. Like my brain is not gonna come up with a different audition form, but I was so underwater in my first years of teaching theater that I forgot I had already made that. So I made it again. Like now I have a whole audition process that I just basically rinse and repeat. And it's something that I've had to like fine tune along the way. So much better now. I have got unit plans and curriculum that again, you fine tune as you go, you shape according to your audience, but damn, it's so much better. That's all the stuff that I have in the drama teacher lab. Those things are tried and true. They work great. Another thing, and this is actually quite surprising because I am such an extrovert and I do personally have a lot of self-confidence. You have to be able to feel comfortable in this job just as a teacher, period, but especially as like a theater teacher, you have to just kind of be okay not knowing what you're doing. Confidence doesn't mean you always know what you're doing. It means you're okay not knowing and being patient to figure it all out. I really did not know as a beginning theater teacher just how much of an imposter I would feel. Like I just remember sitting in a meeting and it was before we were going to a competition and they like, oh God, this is probably like my 3rd or 4th year in. So I wasn't like brand new, but I was new enough. And I was sitting in a meeting with a whole bunch of other teachers from like my region that I didn't really know, but I'd like seen in emails and stuff like that. And as they got talking, oh man, did I let it intimidate me. And I just felt, and again, remember I said, we're posturing and we're peacocking. I remember driving home from that meeting and just crying and going, I don't belong here. I don't do theater the same way that they do. And I just don't know what I'm doing. Honestly, if I could go back and tell that version of me anything, it would be, you know what you're doing. Cry it out, go eat a cookie and get back to work. It's okay. Find the community that is your people and it is okay. Some days are really stinking hard and the days that are amazing make up for it. Which leads me to the last thing that I really did not, like smacked me in the face. So I left teaching theater when I was pregnant with my 2nd child, my daughter. When I had a 3-year-old and an infant at home, it was just, I was not going to be the teacher I wanted to be and the mom that I wanted to be. And so I needed to make a change. It was good for my kids. It was good for me. That's actually when I started the caffeinated classroom because I felt a huge loss and a huge hole in my life, which was like storytelling. And that's when I started this YouTube channel, was actually right then. I mean, I knew I love theater. I love performance. I love going to see performance. I love movies. I love TV. I love stories. all of it. I'm a theatrical person at my very core. I spit so much just now when I said that. Like Jonathan Groff. Just kidding. Oh my God, if only. I didn't realize just how much of my heart and soul was tied to creating things and helping kids learn what they could do and discover things and like mess around and come up with the coolest tap combination with just a group of 10th graders. Like something so magical about it, and I had no idea just how deep within me that connection was and how much I would feel that loss. I'm very happy to be back in it, and I didn't realize how much I would miss it when I didn't have it. So basically everything that I didn't have getting into teaching drama is stuff that I can absolutely provide to other people. I have things for you. If you are like me, and maybe you're an English and a drama teacher, or you're just a drama teacher, or you're like, I'm actually just a teacher, but I would like some activities. I have a free drama class starter kit for you. Head to the description box. While you're there, you may as well take a look. My director's production playbook, that has 8 templates for you. If you are putting on a production, you need these templates. Take a little look-see, take them, use what you need, throw out what you don't, they're fully editable. And then also, if you're looking for curriculum, if you're looking for this community, join the Drama Teacher Lab. I am here for you. I will be sending weekly emails. In fact, join my newsletter because that's where the weekly emails come in. Drama Teacher Lab has all of that like stuff support that I wish I had, and so now here it is for you. So that's the thing about community, is you have to join it in order for it to support you. So take a little look, come along with me, and I will see you next time. Bye.